you are when you talk.
I would never move.
Very stable human being.
You tell yourself that.
This is going in the vlog.
So you already dipped your head down.
I
and
did.
back.
You're right. Oh my god, I'm being attacked so personally. So true.
So tell us, guys, about your, what are some times that you just did like a matching hair flick? All right, these lovely people are both baristas and they are amazing at coffees. But tell us some of the times you've struggled or had some challenges within that.
I think having been in the industry for nearly 4 years, the one thing that took the longest to understand is that there's so many different opinions surrounding coffee and brewing and how to create a great end product and how to run a cafe and how to be a better barista, that you kind of just have to accept that you will learn what works for you by just doing things over and over and over again. So the more time you spend working in a cafe, the more time you realize whether that vibe is right for you and whether that work environment is healthy for your lifestyle. And there's no shame in moving on from something that doesn't work for you. I think I probably stayed in certain jobs that were not necessarily healthy for my lifestyle or for my career progression, just because I felt like I owed them something for learning off of them during that time.
Yeah.
But being okay with realizing that certain parts of the hospitality industry aren't for you is okay. Just don't be afraid to like try things and communicate that honestly with the people you work with.
Yeah, the joy of coffee is that there's so many ways to brew it. There's so many things to learn about it that...
Sorry, I can't drink a nice latte.
Yeah, you've drunk enough coffee in your life, you think you're good at it by now.
Use a
But,
straw.
That's the fail. Right?
That's James's
Coffee
biggest
fail.
fail.
the
That's
hardest
it.
part about coffee is drinking it, and not spilling it on yourself, honestly. Even as baristas, we handle hundreds and hundreds of coffees a day, and we still just don't get it right, but it's fine. It's all the process. I think people can be so pretentious about how they're perceived in the industry, and there's just, I think we need more honest conversations about I spill things all the time. I mess up a brew. We have such a high standard of quality because we're not afraid to make those mistakes and actually just give it a go. You have to fail a few times to actually get the good brew. When I was learning V60s, I made some shocker coffees before I actually understood what I was doing. I had to realize what I didn't want to do. And then that made me realize, this is how it's supposed to taste. It's not supposed to be ashy and all
What
these
was
different things.
when we first started dating, what was your coffee order? Tell them.
Our very first date, it's so funny.
Biggest coffee fail right here.
Yeah, if I can come from this and then now be into specialty coffee, anyone can. I ordered a soy latte in a takeaway cup, extra hot, to have in. Now I was that person, and I'm so embarrassed, but
Nearly
we all
a
have
deal
to
breaker,
start
but
somewhere, yeah.
Lucky you.
And now we're brewing V60s together and going to cuppings and
Well.
my first coffee job was Zarafas. I was drinking caramel cappuccinos and all the frappes, and that was my introduction to coffee. And then, it gets better.
It does. It really does.
What was
different for
my,
you? You
my
have a
job
pretty-
at the Wharves and meeting Sam, actually meeting someone who was really passionate about coffee and the way that you can control all these different variables. When I got my barista course from Zarafas, and there was all these rules I had to follow, but it was all about numbers. No one actually gave me a coffee to taste and was here, experience this, experience what it feels like to have this syrupy, delicious golden coffee, tickle your tongue. It's all this fun experience in coffee, as opposed to just this precise number of this and that, and it's not engaging. I really enjoyed experiencing coffee in every way. I don't know.
I was kind of lucky. My dad owned a cafe for 2 years when I was probably about 12 or 13, and so I would work there on weekends, and he would allow me to have one coffee because I was young, and so thankfully I wasn't smashing coffees at 13, but I had a vanilla latte every Saturday, and then eventually I started being I'm gonna try it without the syrup and see how I go. And then by the time I was 14, I was drinking double shot flat whites, and so that would kind of just was I was lucky that I got to experience sort of that second wave coffee, you know, right before specialty coffee became popular. I think it was a Merlot account back in the day running like their organic blend or whatever. And that was as good as it got, you know, 11, 12 years ago now. So to see how far the industry has progressed and be able to actually witness that happen got me pretty hyped to be part of the next generation of like, how do we engage people who aren't necessarily, you know, coffee nerds, but to tell them that they're allowed to have the respect to deserve to drink good coffee, you know.
Yeah, it's
they
really
don't have to
cool.
settle for the 7-Eleven coffee for $3. It's like,
There's so
spend
much
the
more
extra
education.
$1.50 and go somewhere that's gonna, you know, teach you a little bit and give you a little bit of that enjoyment. And I don't know, coffee is a bit of a lifestyle in a way, but it doesn't have to be an intense one. You can enjoy it without.
There's something for everyone in coffee.
Yes.
And if you want to go all in, deep dive into the hectic side of it, it's there. But if you just want to enjoy like a simple good espresso, it's there. Like it's fun.
Perfection.
You are.
Thanks, guys.
Of course.